My name is Vera Richardson. Today is December the 4th, 2023, and I am online today to um, share some political commentary and and also include my particular faith, which is Christianity, um, in this broadcast. I believe um, with all my heart that I was created to shed light on employment discrimination and retaliation, and for that light to reveal that the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII, which deals with employment discrimination, needs to be and will be amended again. And I thought it would be done under President Obama, and I think he may have addressed some of the Title VII stuff on his 2 terms as president. But I also believe, and Joe Biden believes, that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 needs to be amended again. And one of the promises he made during a town hall in Oswald, Iowa, was that as president, he was going to do that. And since he wasn't able to do it during his first term, um, means that we must elect him again in 2024 so that he can complete that promise. And we know, and I'm saying we, meaning African Americans, that we can really trust Joe Biden. President Biden has the blackest administration that I have ever seen. And I know it couldn't have been one blacker than my lifetime. Um, I, since I was 14 years old, 14, when I first heard about the 13th and the 14th amendments in a civics class, I realized then, and I seized on that moment, that my life could be different than my mom, who had a 7th grade education because she quit school to help my grandmother raise her siblings, her sisters and brothers. She didn't have a child until she was 19 years old, but she had her kids out of wedlock until she finally married. And those kids were, product of that marriage. And my mom died at 58 years old because she had poor health care. She had diabetes, and so she didn't live to witness, but she voted every single year. She lost a job on a tobacco farm because she talked about Dr. Martin Luther King, and Mr. Carter told her mother to tell your daughter that she cannot come back to my farm because she mentioned that nigger, Dr. Martin Luther King's name, and she could not get a job in our little hometown of Quincy, Florida. So she had to leave us, her kids, and go to New York, Rochester, New York, to seek employment. So nothing happens by chance. It is divine. My mom couldn't even imagine having President Obama as a president, and she surely couldn't imagine that President Biden would have had the administration, the cabinet members, that the minorities, women, and men in his administration a group of people who believe in equality for everyone, because that's what our Constitution says, even though it wasn't um, it wasn't interpreted that way until the recent past, and we can't go back. We can't go back to the times when Jim Crow, and now it's worse than that with the Proud Boys and the other domestic terrorist groups threatening our democracy. The fact that the Supreme Court, I think, recently decided that they're going to this, make a determination if they're going to hear the January 6th, those people who participated in that domestic terror event, if they're going to hear their cases. And the fact that Donald Trump, an illegitimate president, and I'm saying he's illegitimate because of the criminal acts that he has been charged with. And if he's found guilty of those acts, including being a part of the January 6th, organizing it, participating in it, etc., he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices. And those people have lifetime appointments. So regardless of what happened to him, his ideology is going to be still a part of the fabric of America. So we need to win in record numbers, too large to cheat, because Donald Trump almost succeeded with his January 6th, with trying to overturn or steal the 2020 election. I made this video tonight because I was talking to a Black male at a while purchasing a product. I'll just say that without, and it was, and this guy told me that he was from New York, that he was a police officer, that he was shot in New York City. He was wounded in New York City. And now he serves in the Hampton Roads area. And he stated that he was voting for Donald Trump. And he supports Donald Trump. And he said a couple of reasons, why. And they all, it floored me. Because I'm saying, if this guy, who I was talking to initially thinking that we're, we got similar beliefs, similar, desires about life, about race. And for this man to say that it's all going to change when Donald wins again. And it will. It will all change if he wins again. So President Obama, once again, I've apologized before and I want to apologize again, because I used to be on calls with President Obama's team, with him on the phone about healthcare reform. And it was, I think we were doing like at least weekly calls, maybe even more than weekly, but at least a weekly call. And one day I was so frustrated because I didn't know, like most Americans, that the Republicans had decided the night of his inauguration, with the help of CBS's news person, I can't think of his name, Lux. He organized a meeting. Kevin McCarthy was there. The second Republican in command now, I don't know if he's in command now, but he was also at that meeting. The one who got shot during the baseball game, he was at that meeting. And they decided that night that they would vote no to everything President Obama proposed. So that was the first attack on our democracy, a conspiracy against a duly elected president. And McConnell took it to another level when he refused to even let President Obama nominee get a vote for the Supreme Court seat that was open. So it's getting worse. And each time we think that it can't, it can. So we can't be complacent. We can't just stand by and not fight. And fight, I mean organize. And we must have something that's going to motivate people to the poll. And with the appearance of, because I'm not a technical person, but the fact that the social media networks are controlled by just a few people, and those people, it appears, have the ability to um, lock you out of your own, have you asking you if you want to subscribe to your own um, YouTube channel or your own X channel, a Twitter account or your X account. So that's going to be, and we know that those social media plays a very important part during election time. And the chaos that is already in place, because all of my accounts, I can't get into them now. I have two blogs that I've had since 2016, callingoutраcism.com and bloggingtochangehistory.com. I can't create any blogs on my own blog sites. So I don't know what can be done, but those of you who do know, those of you that have the ability to change things, or to, oh, I do know something, do it. This is an all hands on time. All hands, we need all hands on deck. And one of the things that the Democrats can do, they can do is, because what happened to me happened with Democrats. But as an intelligent African American woman, as an intelligent American, I know that there's two major parties in this country. And one of those nominees from those two major parties are going to win the election. Any other party, the no name party or the no change name party, where Manchin is trying to be a part of, he's already caused President Biden not to do all that he could have done as a president because he wouldn't address filibuster reform. And now he wants to sabotage the 2024 election to help Donald Trump win, or worse, by running himself. And you know he can't win. Manchin did not even get 50% of the votes in his own state. He got 49 point something percent. He didn't get 50%. Yet he stopped President Biden from delivering the promises that he made in 2020, him and Sinema, the Arizona senator. A little bit about my background. I was a blogger on yourblightworld.com. Boyce Watkins was one of the first people that had an effective um, network that dealt with politics, religion. What was it? Another category? But I know politics and religion, and those were the two that I blogged on, that I addressed. And on the original bloggers there, I was one. Melissa Harris Perry, um, what's his name? Lamont Hill, and someone else. But so, and I was a contributor to CNN. CNN I Report. I was I reported that was featured on their wall. I'm in the corner, but and I was interviewed during Justice Sotomayor confirmation hearing via Skype at that time. So I am definitely qualified, and I have a degree in political science with a minor in criminal justice. My I started at University of Florida, got an associate's degree, and left the University of Florida, and which I was able to attend because any student in the state of Florida who made over 300 on this Florida placement test was able to could get admission, based on that score to any state college. And I left that the University of Florida as a junior, and I graduated from SUNY Brockport, and I did that while working as a correctional officer because when they wouldn't give me the time off that I requested, leave of absence to go to school, I switched shift and worked the midnight shift, and I made the dean's list for the first time in my life, working 40 hours a week and taking 18 semester credits. So, and this didn't happen by chance. It's not me, it's Jesus, it's God. And we can do all things. But one thing, let me go back to the point I was making. I wanted to just let you all know that as far as my political commentary, like my background, but I also want to tell you all that as a Christian, God told me that I was to tell the world, and I said I was going to read it verbatim, make sure I got it right. I don't think I pulled it up though. But if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and I will heal their land. We need our land to be healed of the racism, the violence. We need gun control. We need, and as far as, this is what I want to make a point about. Those of you who feel that because of somebody's lifestyle or somebody decisions that they make about their bodies, that's a reason for you to feel that you are better than them, or you can tell them like what they can and cannot do as it relates to that. Think about this point. This is what gave me um, a understanding and an acceptance of all people and their choices, because God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost gives us the free will. We can accept Him or reject Him, but the choice is ours. If He gives us that right, who are we to say to someone else who you can be, what you can be, and what you can do? You have the right to make your own choices. They have the right to make their own choices for them. You don't have to live their lives, their lifestyle, or or choose the same choices that they choose. But you shouldn't kill, destroy, or want to hurt them for those choices, because God gave all of us free will. And all of us are His children. He created all of us. And I'm going to end with um, something that's going on in the state of Virginia and Virginia school districts. Um, and this is in particular school, Chesapeake City School District. Our kids are being groomed to be inmates. They are treating them, talking to them, and I'm saying they because I would say in most educational systems, the majority of the teachers and the administrations don't look like me. And those people are talking to them, screaming at them, marching them like, and I worked in corrections from 1990, we started in 98. I'm having a senior moment, but I worked in corrections for 12 years. I started in 89 and I was out on workman's comp till part of it, and was um, that's a whole nother story until 1998. So from 89 to 98. And as a correctional officer, we were required to, have them be in formation, for security reasons and no talking. And, but the way that they are treating them now and talking to them, it's just like we treated them, the inmates in a correctional facility. So, so much is on the ballot. So much is on the ballot, President Biden. So much is on the ballot, President Obama. So much is on the ballot, Michelle Obama. So much is on the ballot, Tyler Perry. So much is on the ballot, Oprah. And I believe with all my heart that if New York State Governor Hochul, who is a Democrat, will correct Democrat racism in my case and show the world that even though, because a lot of people believe that the Democrats are no different than Republicans, but they really are. And as a person who has been victimized by Democrat, a Democrat Attorney General Elliot Spitzer, who his Assistant Attorney General Mike Russo, who went on to work for Cuomo, um, and um, Cuomo and Attorney General James. I think he's still employed with Attorney General James, that he's in charge of the Buffalo office. But in 1997, when I filed my lawsuit pro se, because the Mike Russo managed to get a summary judgment motion in that case by committing perjury in his own declaration and also um, subordination of perjury, which was confirmed by two Justice Department attorneys. One of them was a female named Wolf. And I sent her the declarations, and you can see the fax number of the Attorney General at the bottom of it. He mailed them to the New York State administrators and employees to get them to sign. And the fact that he faxed those perjured declarations, and I sent her direct evidence that proved that they contain proof. I sent them, it was two of them, that proved that um, they contain perjury, and they referred it to the told me that they referred it to the Justice Department, but no one was ever charged with perjury, and he has had a 20-something plus year career with Attorney General James as she currently prosecutes Donald Trump for decade-old civil violations of civil crimes. So if the Democrats could correct that injustice, give me retroactive disability retirement, because one of the things they said was that I was fired because I could no longer do the correction officer position, but I was receiving workman's comp. And they had one of the declarations, one of the Mac Russo facts to one of the people said that we're doing a disability, doing a hearing. That person testified that no workman's comp case was ever filed by me, and I received workman's comp for 3 or 4 years. But he signed that purge declaration, and it was sent to him by a Democratic Attorney General attorney. So Democrats, that's why a lot of people believe that you all are any different. They say both of them the same, but we're not. You're not. And if I believed that, and I was a true, and still am a true victim, because now instead of getting, I get $349 retirement instead of what I would have been, what I would be receiving if I had gotten disability retirement that I was entitled to, or if I had been allowed to complete my 20-something years of service without being terminated. And I still believe, because we have two choices, the Republicans or the Democrats. And we know, I don't know how this, the black police officer. I don't know what position he has in the force here in Hampton Roads area, how he got to the belief that Donald Trump is the best thing and Donald Trump is going to be reelected in 2024. And he's excited about that. Democrats, you all need to give African Americans a reason to celebrate. Imagine my testimony. I told Hillary that in 2016, and that's a whole nother story. In 2016, and at first they were going to put me, I was going to be in the first North Carolina TV ad. And then when they discovered that I had, because I have no favor or for any party if you are not pro. And I mean, if you don't believe in equality for everyone, especially African Americans. And my qualm with her was about how she stayed in the race too long against President Obama. And maybe she really believed in her heart that a black man couldn't win. Maybe she really believed that. I'll give her credit for that. But based on that, when they discovered that I was working for her, they wouldn't use the ad. And then toward the end of the campaign, they decided they had me to sign a release and that they were going to use me in an ad and then I guess the polls showed that they were going to win, so they didn't use it. And the rest is history. She lost and Donald Trump won. So let's not do it again. We can't do it again. We can't lose another election to Donald Trump. We can't. This democracy cannot survive another Donald Trump win, Donald Trump White House. The world can't survive a Donald Trump White House. Make me whole. Give me entitled disability retirement, Governor Hochul. Attorney General James, you know, because Justice Ginsburg, our favorite Supreme Court justice, granted me an extension to file my appeal to my case being dismissed to the Supreme Court. When I submitted my documentation and quoted her ruling in Sanderson versus in Sanderson, and also Anderson too, there's two different cases. But according to Justice Ginsburg, if a plaintiff lies about why they took discriminatory actions or the actions they took, then that if a defendant, not the plaintiff, if a defendant lies about the reason why they took the actions that they did during an employment, a Title VII Civil Rights Act of 1964 employment discrimination case, then that plaintiff must survive summary judgment as a matter of law. Because if the person who allegedly did the action lies about it, then a jury, not a judge, should decide that case. That didn't happen in my case. And this is the book that I wrote about it. And all of the evidence, a lot of the evidence, that's me in my correction officer uniform, is in the book. And if they make me whole with retroactive disability retirement, and I don't know, I would think that, I don't know about an apology, but that would be nice. President Biden will win by record numbers because Black people will see that the Democrats are indeed different. than Republicans. We make mistakes, we acknowledge them, and we make people whole when we ruin their entire life. Thank you very much. Good night. End it, but it won't end. Let's see if I can do this one.